The idea of food addiction is that some people react to some foods in different ways than other people do. I think a lot of skeptics, when they hear food addiction, think, oh boy, what's next? Air addiction? Everybody eats. How can you be addicted to something that you need for survival? This is not that controversial. You know, you think of shellfish or peanuts, two examples of things that most people eat. Some people choose not to. Some people better not, or else they'll die. I have foods that I don't eat, but there's more than one. And that's part of why it is so complicated. I choose not to eat any refined sugar. I eat sugar, I eat vegetables, and I eat fruit, and there are other forms. I eat yogurt that has sugar in it, natural sugar. Besides sugar and flour, refined sugar and flour, I am susceptible to volume. If I had a choice, I don't have anything against fine food, but if I had to make a choice between dainty portions of the best cuisine in the world or a pile from whatever Chinese food restaurant is around the corner, I would choose the pile. This isn't, you know, esoteric theory. This is my experience, especially when I remove these things from my bloodstream over the long period of time, in the same way an alcoholic might remove alcohol from their bloodstream. When I put it back in, I get a strong reaction. My skin might get clammy, my mouth might get dry, I might feel like my heart is racing. I have physiological effects. If somebody wants to know, are they a food addict? One of the ways they can tell is just you know, go buy an ice cream sundae, if a sundae is their thing, you know, or go buy popcorn or whatever it is that really bloomin' onion, whatever they love, and have them put it down on the table, take a couple bites, and then stop. And is that okay? I don't need that. I'm going to walk away. If it's not an issue for you, you'll know it's not an issue for you. But if I didn't have to be this way, I wouldn't be. I was in rehab for 9 weeks in 1991 at South Oaks Rehab Hospital, Psychiatric Hospital in Amityville, Long Island. I did go in for eating disorder treatment, and I was in the eating disorder unit, but I was not diagnosed as having an eating disorder. The reason for that is that there is no such diagnosis. So they diagnosed me with something else, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which, you know, to be clear, was fair. I'm a compulsive eater. But I was 34 years old, and no doctor had ever said you have OCD until they were trying to come up with a medical justification to have the insurance company pay for my hospitalization. And so, yes, I would very, very strongly urge people who were like I was, which was 365 pounds, isolated, to get this kind of treatment. The problem is it's not available. It's one of the reasons that I wrote the book. In my life, I have abused drugs, okay? Different ones, different times. I was puritanically against it until the last part of my freshman year in college, and then I did drugs of one kind or another almost every day that I had it for the next 17 years. The one most notable for me is cocaine. Crack cocaine I was using, and powdered cocaine, which I really can't tolerate because I have bad sinuses, but I would do it anyway. But that's insanity of drugs. But everybody knows that cocaine is really addictive, right? Well, I reached the point where I understood that I could have a pile of cocaine the size of this room. I would stay up for weeks, I would skip work, I would do it until it was gone. And then when it appeared to be gone, I'd be crawling around on the floor looking for the little bit that I'd missed. What I saw in that there was no satisfaction, and I may as well quit. And so I did. I have many times, before I got into the recovery from my food addiction, thought, you know, I really ought to quit doing this to myself. I would wake up in the morning and swear off after a bad night of eating. And in many other, you know, instances think, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then by 10 o'clock, I'd be back in it. Cocaine, which is really addictive, I gave up. With food, I thought of it many times. I could never follow through on it. I had the choice. I was abusing cocaine, no doubt about it. It was bad enough that my boss pulled me aside and said, look, something's wrong here, you better fix it. But when I wanted to stop, not because of that, by the way, but when I wanted to stop, I did. I have never been able to just say, okay, I'll stop with food and have it last for any period of time. You know, sometimes it would last for a little while and I think, see, I got it solved. But I never had it solved while I was relying on my own power. I was afflicted by something that was bigger than me. When I finally admitted that and went to professionals and to other people who had symptoms like I had, asked them what they did to get better, and then slowly, churlishly, very childishly, at my own pace instead of the pace they suggested, I started doing those things and I started to get better. What I learned from my experience is that when I started acting like I was an addict, getting the treatments for addicts and performing the practices that addicts do to stay well a day at a time, I got better. If people get the diagnosis I think they should get, which is that they're food addicts, those who are, then they would embark on a much different form of treatment than just, I just got to knock off desserts for a little while. If I had understood earlier, you know, I didn't get treatment until I was 34, and I was lucky that I got it then. If I had to wait until I was 40, it might not have been available. And before 34, I really wasn't interested. Do I wish I could have learned about all this stuff a lot earlier in my life and encountered a lot more of what people consider normal living in the normal pace? I wish I could have.